Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the TDE-Podcast. I'm Sophie.
And I'm Jack. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Today, we're diving into something that a lot of people struggle with: overthinking.
Yes, overthinking. We've all been there, right? You've got a decision to make, or maybe something's bothering you, and your mind just won't stop spinning. You can't focus, you keep going over the same thoughts again and again.
It's exhausting, right? And we know how it feels. Overthinking can make the simplest things feel like huge challenges. But today, we're going to talk about ways to stop overthinking and get back to living in the moment.
Exactly. So, Jack, what do you think is the first step to stopping overthinking?
Great question. For me, the first step is realizing when you're overthinking. Sometimes, you don't even realize you're doing it. You're just stuck in a loop. So, I think awareness is the key.
Right. Awareness is so important. Once you recognize that you're overthinking, it's like a light bulb goes off, and you can start taking control. But then, what do you do about it?
One of the first things I try is just to pause. Sometimes, we keep thinking because we're afraid of making the wrong decision or because we want to find the perfect solution. But honestly, not everything needs to be perfect. A simple break can help reset your mind.
I totally agree with that. Taking a break doesn't mean you're avoiding the issue. It's more about giving your brain a chance to relax and recharge. When you come back to the problem after a short pause, you might see it in a whole new light.
Yes, and something else that really helps is just breathing. Overthinking is often tied to stress, and your body reacts by getting tense and anxious. Deep breathing is a simple but powerful way to calm yourself down.
For sure. If you're feeling overwhelmed, try taking a few deep breaths, slowly in through your nose and out through your mouth. It sounds so simple, but it really helps to slow down the mind and bring some peace to the moment.
And once you're feeling a little calmer, you can start thinking more clearly. Another tip is to ask yourself some questions. For example, what's the worst that could happen if I make this decision? Or, is this something I can control?
Exactly. Asking those kinds of questions helps you break things down and get perspective. A lot of the time, we overthink because we're imagining the worst possible outcomes. But when you really think about it, you'll realize that most of the things we worry about don't actually happen.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in these what-if scenarios. And speaking of breaking things down, let's talk about setting boundaries with your thoughts. We tend to give ourselves permission to think and think until we're exhausted, but sometimes we just need to say, okay, that's enough for now.
Exactly. It's like putting a limit on how much time you give yourself to dwell on something. You can say, I'll think about this for 10 minutes, and after that, I'll focus on something else. It's kind of like setting a timer for your thoughts.
That's a great idea. And if the thoughts keep coming back, remind yourself that you've already given them time, and it's time to move on. You're in control of your mind, not the other way around.
Another thing that works is talking it out with someone you trust. Sometimes when we're stuck in our heads, it helps to just say our thoughts out loud to get them out of our system. You don't always need advice. Sometimes, you just need to share how you're feeling.
Totally. Talking things through with a friend or family member helps you organize your thoughts. Plus, they can offer a fresh perspective that might help you see things more clearly. It's like having a little reset button for your mind.
I agree. And speaking of perspective, let's talk about challenging negative thoughts. Overthinking often comes from negative thought patterns, like, I'll never get this right, or I'm not good enough. These thoughts are automatic, but they don't have to control you.
Exactly. If you catch yourself thinking negatively, ask yourself, is this really true? Or what evidence do I have for this thought? Sometimes, our minds get caught up in these stories that aren't even based in reality.
Yes, Jack. And a helpful way to challenge those thoughts is by replacing them with more balanced ones. So, instead of thinking, I'm going to fail, try I've faced challenges before, and I know I can handle this one too.
That's a great shift in mindset. It's all about being kinder to yourself. And while we're talking about mindsets, let's dive into focusing on the present moment. Overthinking often happens when we're too focused on the past or future. Mindfulness is all about being here, right now.
I love that. Mindfulness is such a powerful tool for staying grounded. It's about paying attention to your thoughts, feelings, and the world around you without judgment. The more you practice mindfulness, the less room there is for overthinking.
And let's not forget about the importance of taking action. Sometimes, overthinking comes from a fear of making the wrong move. But when you focus on taking small, manageable steps, you start moving forward and break the cycle of overthinking.
Right, Jack. Even if you don't have all the answers, taking action helps you build momentum. It's like you're proving to yourself that you don't need to have everything figured out before you start. Just start, and you'll learn along the way.
Exactly. And one last tip I want to mention is self-compassion. When you're overthinking, be gentle with yourself. It's normal to have doubts, but it's also important to remind yourself that you're doing the best you can. Treat yourself like you'd treat a good friend.
That's such an important point, Jack. Overthinking can be draining, and it's easy to be hard on yourself. But showing yourself some love and patience goes a long way in stopping the cycle of overthinking.
So, to wrap it up, here are tips to stop overthinking. 1. Recognize when you're overthinking. 2. Take a pause and give your brain a break. 3. Practice deep breathing to calm your mind. 4. Ask yourself helpful questions to gain perspective. 5. Set boundaries for your thoughts and limit your worrying time. 6. Talk it out with a friend. 7. Challenge negative thoughts and replace them with more balanced ones. 8. Focus on the present moment through mindfulness. 9. Take small actions to move forward. 10. Be compassionate with yourself and avoid self-judgment.
That's a great summary, Jack. Overthinking doesn't have to control your life. By being mindful of your thoughts and taking small steps, you can stop the cycle and start living more peacefully.
Exactly. Remember, it's a journey, not a destination. Don't be hard on yourself if it takes time to change these habits. We all go through it.
Thanks for listening to Mind Matters. We hope you found today's tips helpful. If you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button and leave us a review. We'd love to hear how you deal with overthinking.
Take care of your mind, everyone, and we'll see you next time.